Good evening, everybody. Welcome to North Shore 9 Live. With me, as always, I'm Jim Rosati of Northside Notch. With me, as always, Tyler Wagner Cuts. Tyler, how you doing?
What's up, Jimbo? Jimbo Fisher.
I'm doing good. It's cold. You guys got some snow, didn't you?
Dude, this sucks.
Didn't you get like a foot of snow?
I think we only got like 5 or 6 inches, but it rained like real early yesterday, and it was just slush. Dude, thanks, Donardo. Great. Man, I feel like I'm back watching Jeopardy.
Right. I was going to say, in the background is our producer, Donardo, but, he just he just butts in there with making his presence known.
But did you guys get snow over there in Kentucky?
No snow in Kentucky. We did have like a little bit of flurries this afternoon, but nothing of note.
Yeah, they sent everyone home from work early yesterday, but me. The entire company.
You were the only one.
I was literally the only person in the entire company there after 3:30.
So why didn't you just leave?
I could have, but I work in insurance, so like I was going to leave. I have a call come in. Guy wrecks his car. I got to handle the claim. Another one comes in. Another one comes in. Another one comes in. I'm like, all right, well, I'm here till 5. We're just going to deal with it.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I heard a lot of people had a snow day, like home from work today. Well, I guess everybody's been home from work though, for the most part.
Haven't worked from home all year.
I heard a lot of people had snow days, which is kind of nuts.
I wish. I can't be in Florida and get hurricane days.
That's true. So speaking of Florida, speaking of hurricane days,
I'm so good at segues.
Donardo in the background there. How's it going, Donardo?
Hi, guys. Hi. How you doing? I'm all right, guys. No snow day for me. Unfortunately, no hurricane days either this year. I got to say, even for Jacksonville, because we're not known for getting hurricanes, it's probably been the first year we haven't had a hurricane day in 4 or 5 years. So I'm disappointed that I couldn't go to work and I had to stay, wasn't able to stay home this year. For a hurricane.
Let me ask you this. So, Jacksonville's like northern. It's pretty northern Florida. How long have you been there?
13 years.
Has it ever snowed in Jacksonville in your 13 years?
So, yes. There was one time where it snowed. Nothing like stuck, but there was flurries. Like me coming from Pittsburgh area, right, western Pennsylvania, it's never snowed here. But if you want to talk to people from Florida, oh my God, it snowed here. They saw snow for the first time in their lives. So yeah, it has technically snowed. Now there's also been like frost is something that does happen for sure. Even tonight, actually, we have a frost warning. Or watch. Okay. It's pretty damn cold. So
did you go out and cover your flowers?
Supposedly. Oh, it's crazy. It's so funny that again, we're just used to this stuff, right? Anytime there's a frost watch, oh my God, it might get down to the 30s and such. Everyone's talking about what you have to do with the pipes. The pipes can burst, this and that. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm not worried about that. Like, oh my God, their pipes can burst. Everyone go protect them.
I actually have a question for Floridians. Do you guys use automatic starts there?
Like for cars?
Like for your car? Yeah.
I actually had an automatic start when I lived in Pennsylvania, and I loved it just for that reason. I would be in the house, I'd be getting ready for
Yeah.
work, turn on my car, finish getting ready for work, go in the car, be nice and toasty. I don't hear of too many people here that have it, but I can see it for the reverse, like having the AC on. That way when you go in the car, it's nice and cold. But yeah, I don't really. It's not really, I guess, a big thing.
I mean, at the same time, it took me 45 minutes to get home from work yesterday. I live 15 minutes from work.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a normal day in Jacksonville.
Well,
like 15 miles from work, 45 minutes. That sounds about right.
It could be. I've lucked out. Not when I first moved here, but since then, I want to say like for the past 10 years. Now I worked at 2 different places in those 10 years, but my job's been, I mean, I'm telling you, like right down the road, 5-minute commute, 10-minute commute, maybe. I'll put it to you this way. And I've traveled in this time since I had my cars. I got in 2012. Still have it actually, but 2012. I've traveled to Pennsylvania and back. I've gone to Miami plenty of times, Key West plenty of times. I have 80,000 miles on my car. So, yeah, my commute is nothing for this entire time.
Wait, hold on. How old is your car?
8 years.
I've got 50,000 on it in 3 years.
I believe you. I believe you. I mean, my commute when I lived in Pennsylvania, I was driving back and forth to work. It was, a 30-mile trek for me to go to work when I was living back there. Now it's legit like 3 to 5 miles. So like I said, I've lucked out to where I live, but yeah.
We all need something to complain about.
Like for me, I used to put a ton of miles on my car, but this year, just been working from home all year, and I barely get in it now.
That too.
Must be nice. Must be nice. I don't get that luxury.
It's not all that it's cracked up to be honest.
Oh, please. I would love it.
There is some advantages, but there is.
I mean, I'll say it's convenient, but I do miss. Yeah. There was nothing like getting in your car and just putting on music and just drifting away, listening to something. Or now even like podcasts or something. Hopefully the North Shore 9 podcast for those listening. But, I did. I was like 30 minutes. And especially back then, I would buy the latest CD for whatever, pop it in the car and listen to an album on that day. Half of it on the way, half it back. You're like, oh man, this album's legit. Now,
if I want to listen to music after work, I'll just, if I were working from home, I wouldn't need to listen to music. I'd just go upstairs and watch Netflix. Be like, I'm done. All right, 5 o'clock, click, go upstairs.
So I've even gotten it. So like I'm in my office and I got to the point where, I was in here so often that I just put a TV in my office. So like I'm sitting here right now and there's a TV right in front of me.
Oh, yeah.
So
well, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I have.
This is all. Go ahead.
I have my laptop here. I have 2 screens right here, and then literally there's a 55-inch right here. So I have plenty of options.
I feel like this is all discussion for our Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, so we'll get to the Mount Rushmore. First, we're going to talk a little bit about baseball. So interesting today, Baseball America came out with their top 10 Pirates prospects list. So we'll go through that a little bit, kind of give everybody our thoughts, our impressions of it. There's a few things that stuck out to me on it, a few surprises, a few inconsistencies between Baseball America, MLB Pipeline, Fangraphs, all the people who kind of put together these lists. They're all a little bit different. There's one person in particular who I'm a little bit surprised about. We'll get to, but yeah. So the list today. Let's see. Do we have the graphic up here, Leonardo?
Sorry, Jim. Not that you don't have it on your phone.
Graphic's not up yet. All right, but just quickly going through it all. Pretty simple. Ke'Bryan Hayes, number 1 prospect. Ke'Bryan Hayes, number 1 prospect. O'Neal Cruz, number 2. The newly drafted Nick Gonzalez coming in at 3rd, followed by Quinn Priester, Leover Peguero, Cody Bolton, Tanaj Thomas, Brennan Malone Kiwan Bay, and Carmen Majinski. So,
What a name.
Carmen Majinski. Yeah, so I mean, just going through that
Say it
2
one
new
more time
draft
for me,
picks.
Jim.
Carmen Majinski. All right.
How many times you practice that?
No, I'm a big I've been a Carmen Majinski guy my whole life.
His whole life.
But
Since he was out of the womb.
two newcomers onto the list as far as new draftees, so 2 newcomers to the organization. But I'll give my thoughts on it, but I want to hear your guys' first. So
That's not how it works.
what's your no, I'm the host, so I ask the question.
I do what I want.
So first off, biggest biggest surprise. Who's your biggest surprise, Tyler? What are you thinking?
Surprise wise, I think it might be, to me, seeing O'Neal Cruz up that high at number 2 might be a little surprising to me. I figured maybe Nick Gonzalez would slide into that spot, especially with everything going on with Cruz, and not just off the field, but we're also talking about the question marks around where he fits into the lineup defensively. I think there's a lot of question marks surrounding him. And Nick Gonzalez seems like more of a higher ceiling type of guy. So that I get it. It's a lot higher of a ceiling with O'Neal Cruz, but at the same time, after the year that happened, I feel like you might have saw him slip a little bit, but people still seem to believe in him.
Yeah, so Cruz number 2. It'll be interesting to see where they put him on the top 100 list. But you're right. That's kind of right where Fangraphs has him. MLB Pipeline has him a little bit lower than that. But yeah, that is the highest ranking that we will see from Cruz. I would imagine. Donardo, do you have any surprises on the list?
I don't think I'm like completely surprised by anything on the list. Like, like a wow shock factor. I want to say Majinski kind of does a little bit, just seeing that he's, drafted the back end of the first round and already in the top 10 prospect list here for the Pirates. Again, I feel as if the Pirates don't get a whole lot of respect for the farm. I'm not saying it's like this incredible, it's not the Toronto Blue Jays. Trust me. There's no like real top end, but I feel like it's deep as far as decent prospects, right? A lot of role players. So to see him come in right now in the top 10, to me was a little bit shocking. Like Swagger, he's fallen out then obviously. No longer in the top 10 and such. So to see him at number 10 a little bit, and then Bolton. And the reason I'm going to say Bolton is the fact that I like Bolton. I can talk a little bit about him here as far as Jim's going to make fun of me, the spin rates and whatever. He intrigues me. Back in 2019, Ryan and I were talking about, and we had our like little prospect segment here as well. He was doing dominant in A, goes up to AA, and got beat up pretty bad up there. So I think for him to, after that, and then again, like this last season we all talk about, for him to still stay at like number 6 on this list right now, I think I'm shocked that he's still getting that respect in that regard, especially because he wasn't like in these top 10 lists beforehand. So like, I think again, like what has changed, right? So I think I like Bolton. I'm intrigued by him. I want to see almost like that Brubaker-ish. Like I want to see what this guy can do. But yeah, I'm a little bit shocked that he's already right on this list right now as top 6.
Yeah, no, so I agree with you. So I had two main surprises, one of them being Bolton and him being that high, because typically, looking at other prospect sites and other lists, he's not. He's kind of floats around the 10, 11, 12 territory from what it seems like. Mm-hmm. And it's weird because we didn't have a minor league season this year. So, what is it that caused that jump, this year? I'm kind of intrigued as far as like, is there something going on with Cody Bolton that maybe we don't know about, that maybe some scouts saw, or I don't know. But I agree with you. He's an interesting prospect, dominated at Bradenton. And then, like you mentioned, struggled in his first work in Altoona. So I wonder if they'll start him off in Altoona next year, if he starts off in AAA. I don't know what we'll see there, but yeah, him coming in at 6. That's like I said, that's the highest. That's the highest anybody's ever had him. So that was a little interesting and surprising to me. And then Tyler mentioned Travis Swaggerty. So
Yeah, that was
or
that was you actually, wasn't it?
I did. I mentioned
Okay.
Majinski surprised me being there and saying like the fact that like Swaggerty's
Uh-huh.
out in regards to that.
Yeah.
So Swaggerty is the biggest surprise for me, not even being in this top 10. And I mean, that could be one of two reasons. One, people are now lower on him. He is now a year older. We didn't get to see how he played, this past season. He handled himself just fine in Bradenton in 2019. But we didn't really get to see him in Double-A. He's now getting another year older. So I don't know if that played a role in it. Swaggerty's somebody who I feel like his ceiling kind of just keeps going down every year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think his floor is super low. Like, I think he'll be a major leaguer, but I don't think he's going to be, a star. But so that was kind of the biggest shock for me, is not having him on this list. MLB Pipeline has Swaggerty number 6, by the way. Fangraphs hasn't updated their list with the 2021 picks, but assuming Gonzalez is higher, Swaggerty would be the number 4 prospect on Fangraphs right now. So this not having him in this top 10 was a little surprising to me.
Yeah.
Another.
Go ahead, Tyler.
Another part of this that I guess a blind, without watching any minor league baseball this year because we couldn't. Another maybe positive of it that might give you a slimmer of hope is seeing both of the Starling Marte returns in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
It might give you a little bit of
definitely.
Sherrington maybe knows what he's doing. Hopefully, you never know, but
right.
Apparently, someone that watches a lot more baseball than you, me, or Donardo knows enough about them to be able to put them in the top 10. So
that's right.
That's a good point.
Like they have 4 TVs, so they beat Jim with his 3. So,
well, so here's the thing: I do have a 4th TV behind my bar. I just have to move my head to the right.
Oh, such the inconvenience! What world do we live in? We have to move your head to watch your 4th television. I mean, come on.
He's got to look behind the bar.
This
in his
is
office.
so 2020.
But no, you mentioned that. I mean, yeah. So 2 out of the Pirates' top 8 prospects, according to this list, came back in that Marte trade.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that's good to see, and that's pretty much across the board too. I mean, MLB Pipelines too. That same thing there. Fangraphs is a little bit same thing in Fangraphs too. So that's pretty consistent that those 2 prospects we got are among the top echelon of this organization, which is good to see.
Right.
And then another part of it is me complaining about Eric Gonzalez for the last 2 years. Everyone told me, no, that was a trade for Thomas. It was a trade for Thomas. And I just told him, shut the hell up. And maybe it was a trade for Thomas. I don't know.
Now Thomas, yeah. I just wanted to say something too. What I wanted to say before was just to make things all even as well. I know Pipeline hasn't released their updated prospect list either yet. So technically speaking, this is during the season. Also, again, I don't know what really has changed that's going to lead to a possible change upcoming. But, we're talking about this today because Baseball America has just released their top 10 updated Pirates list. So to be fair, there could be some changes in Pipeline, but as of right now, there isn't. But I'm with you guys. Like when you look at Pipeline, Swaggerty's still number 6, like you mentioned. Also, let's give some shout out, where props are due. This list from Baseball America today was released by Tim Williams. So Tim Williams did it for Baseball America. I saw a little bit of the chat just to kind of catch up and see some things. And like what he was mentioning about Swaggerty as well, more or less is the fact that I think what we all can agree on. I think he has a decent floor, but I think we've noticed that the ceiling's gone. Like there really isn't much where maybe a Majinski or like the Malone, the Boltons we're talking about, like they could have a ceiling and progress or whatever, where Swaggerty, he's struggled. And, he did turn up a little bit in Bradenton, I believe, right? And then, again, like this, again, lost season, so who knows? But, and then Pipeline has actually Gonzalez as number 1, Hayes, and then Cruz, to go back to Tyler's point.
Yeah, I mean, to add on with Swaggerty there, I mean that where it's going to now catch up to him is since he was a college hitter taken in the draft. He's 23 years old now, and he hasn't played above high A ball. So 23 years old, and you're still at least probably a year and a half away, right? I mean, I would think, unless he just comes out next year and just you know it lights the world on fire. But I don't see Travis Swaggerty being a major leaguer next year, which then pushes him to 2024. And so, yeah, it's
And then like I mean, is that a top 10 prospect?
Right. Yeah, I mean at that point,
that's like Will Craig territory right now.
Yep. Yeah, so I think that's kind of playing a role there. I think he probably was the biggest. If we're looking at this list and kind of who went up, who went down, him not playing a year this year, and not being able to see how he adjusts to Double A. Because let's say if he comes out and he hits Double A, right, and then he's in Triple A at the end of the year, then you're like, okay, that let's keep him in that top 10 list perhaps. But we need to get to see that at all. So we're still to a point where we now have a 23-year-old Travis Swaggerty who hasn't been in Double A yet.
Right.
And this year probably killed him more than anybody, just at the position he's at with his age. New GM comes in, new minor league system comes in. You pretty much waste a year.
Yeah.
Like you don't get to develop under that.
This was an important year for him to show if he can really continue what he kind of did in Bradenton for a little bit there. Right. So you lose that. But also like what Jim said, we joke about how they're coming up with this. They're seeing this. I know there's people speaking. They talk about, their high-level execs and different scouts that Baseball America is talking to, whatever. There still was something that was happening. I know it's not the same quality of players, but maybe for like the younger guys that are playing against all the guys in that 60-man, 40-man, whatever you want to call it, summer camp with them. There's still stuff happening. So if they're seeing like, hey, you know what, maybe not so much for Swaggerty, but like I guess a good case for like Cody Bolton. If he was there, even though he had that terrible Double A appearance in 2019, if he was there this year and it was like, man, he's looking pretty damn good, maybe there's reason for that too. So, yeah, I know we didn't get to see much, but clearly there's something behind the smoke here. So, like you mentioned about Cody Bolton, that's a guy I definitely want to see more of. I really want to see what he's going to do in 2021 to take that leap. Tanaj Thomas also, he's a big leap. Like Baseball America has we said a 6, 7, and then Pipeline has him at 15 still. Yeah. So he's like Tyler said,
I think it's one of those.
So much Gonzalez, maybe it's for him.
Yeah, with Thomas, it's one of those things. Like, do you look at him as a reliever or do you look at him as a starter? I think that's kind of where, where he's going to fall on prospect lists is kind of depending on how you look at him.
Mm-hmm. This is so weird for me because I know you guys are older, but we're talking about like 23-year-olds. I'm like, these guys are the same age as me. No, they're not. Shit.
Right, I know. Dude, you have no idea.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm at that phase right now where I look up a player and I see they're born the same year as me. I'm like, they still got plenty of time. I'm like, no, they don't.
Yeah.
Now talk about your boy Alexander Mojica. Dude was born in 2002.
Yeah,
that's dumb.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. I mean, man, I don't like this age. I don't like it. Because now I'm fine. You know what I realized it whenever I was creating a player on Madden and I had to lower my age to make myself a rookie.
You know what? That's a really good. I'm not even saying Madden.
Point.
Tyler, when you used to play NHL, I remember I created a player then too, and I had to do the same. I'm like, wow, I can't just like. Every time I created someone, it was always Pitt, and I would put like really like my own birthday, because for the most part, what's a 27-year-old? Like, who cares? But like now, I'm just like. Man, I'm like retiring. I'm at the point where people are like, you know what? He doesn't have it anymore. He should probably start considering retirement. I'm like, damn, I gotta lie about my age in these games.
Can't create yourself in video games anymore.
Right?
How Road to the Show and then MLB The Show would be like, it'd be like The Rookie. It'd be like the movie The Rookie.
We'll just say I was a college dropout I'm Evan Gaddis. I traveled the
Yeah,
world.
it's the road to the broadcaster booth for us now.
That it is.
So I don't know. Any other thoughts on the top 10 list, or what I think, like I said, this is just one list out of many.
I mean, one thing that stands out, I'll just say, I mean, think about it, top 10 list and 4 shortstops. Now, granted, I think what's funny is we have 4 shortstops by recognition, but do you think any of them were like a real legit shortstop? Like, do we have a true shortstop coming up yet? Who do you think of these is going to stick?
Yeah, so Peguero is a shortstop. Out of the 4, he's the one who is likely to stick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bay, I could see moving to second. You know, Bay could also even move to like center field. But yeah, O'Neal Cruz, I just think there's 0 shot. He's a shortstop. Nick Gonzalez, like, it would be awesome if he could stick there. We'll see. I mean, they're going to try. I would imagine they're going to try real hard to have him stick at shortstop. But
if they're trying this hard for O'Neal Cruz to stick there, I'm fully confident they're going to try for Nick Gonzalez.
Yeah, so I would say though Peguero is definitely the one most likely to stick.
The one thing I'll say is that I feel like we went through a phase with Neil Huntington where he was trying to fit everyone in who were not, like we watched it with Jacoby Jones. He tried to fit everybody into a position they were not fit for. And right now, I feel like we're in a spot where these guys are shortstops or middle infielders that might not play at the professional level, but they are at least that position as they are right now. If that makes any sense. I just prefer my team to be able to start there, and then we can spread them out and fit them wherever they need to go.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense to me, but let me ask you this, because I think
if I had a team of 9 shortstops, I would be happy.
Well, yeah.
Of the 8 shortstops, okay. They're the most athletic position on the field, I think.
Well, I think what ends up happening, especially, you know, when you draft people, right? You're drafting kids out of high school, you're drafting people out of college. Odds are the best players in high school are shortstops. Like, that's where you put your best player. So everyone who gets drafted out of high school is a shortstop. Like, that's just kind of the way.
Watching Connor Joe.
JT Realmuto was.
So, yeah,
I think a second baseman or something. He got drafted and they switched him over. Now he's the best catcher, but.
Yeah, and then eventually,
we're not watching Connor Joe try to get fit into third base.
No, but we are watching a 6'7" shortstop trying to get fit into the shortstop.
That's what I wanted to get to with Tyler's thing.
Yeah,
I was like, I get that, but the same sense, don't you think it's doing more harm right now trying to make O'Neal Cruz? Why?
I don't.
I think it's because I'd rather things. If he can do it, then
can he though?
No, but I would rather him
to quote play the John Drecker. I mean, he's the one that put it out. He had 3 errors the other game at short.
Mm-hmm.
He's had plenty of errors at short this 2019 season. Is it really going to be a thing? What are the
maybe O'Neal Cruz? Maybe Cruz is the wrong example here, but I'd rather watch him focus on developing the bat at a position that he knows and then worry about defense later than have him learn defense on the fly in the minor leagues and not develop the bat.
You sold me.
I mean, we watched it with Josh Bell where it was just a year before go play first base.
Yeah.
We saw it didn't work, but Josh Bell is also a terrible defensive player no matter where you put him.
Well, I'll put it this way, and Bell could be a different case for me, but I think you sold me there because there's so many questions with Cruz's bat, though, also. That, you know what? You make a good point. Let's make sure the bat plays. Let's make sure the bat's there. Because if there is no bat, doesn't matter where he plays. His calling card is his bat.
You could make the argument that if you put him at like third base, he might be able to just transition there easily and only focus on the bat and not make 3 errors a game.
Yeah, but he's not going to be a third baseman though either.
I know, maybe
Brian Hayes will make sure of that. First base is.
I'm just saying.
I think first base or right field to me is his position.
At the end of the day, just be an athlete, please.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because this upcoming Pirates tenure, whatever, like they don't need O'Neal Cruz to be the first baseman. Like they have Brian Hayes that's going to be thrown to him. He can make that throw. Like we needed O'Neal Cruz on first base like 5 years ago.
With Pedro throwing the ball.
Where else are you putting him?
Yeah,
I think you're right. But here's the thing though with shortstops, like he's clearly an athlete. He's athletic enough, and we even saw it with Cole Tucker this year. Like you can probably play just about anything. And
he'll figure it out.
Yeah, he'll be able to figure it out. Like it's not like we're talking about moving a right fielder to first base or a first baseman to right field. Like we're talking about moving a shortstop to really anywhere on the diamond, and odds are he's going to be able to do that. So I don't have any issues with him staying at shortstop right now. I don't think that's where he ends up. But like Tyler said, let's just let him hit. And eventually we'll just find a spot for him. Like I think that's just going to be what it comes down to is at some point if he hits the ball, they will find a spot for him.
If you hit the ball, you're going to play somewhere. Yeah. They'll find somewhere to put you.
And hell, you know what? When Robo-Ums come in a few years, he can be our catcher.
That too, yeah.
Okay, maybe that's the one spot you can't find someone for.
What do you mean? Can't have a 6'7" catcher?
I mean, how many catchers have the Pirates drafted that just end up playing? Well, actually nowhere because Wyatt Matheson kind of flamed out, but you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't
Neil Walker.
But if like receiving doesn't really matter, you could just stick whoever you want back there. They just have to have an arm.
And if we get the DH, we'll find out.
I just feel like his pop time is probably very, very terrible. But
maybe
he don't need to. Maybe he just throw straight from his knees.
Yeah, when there's someone on base, he can just stand up and just lean down. And
Michael Jordan Space Jam, where it just goes like this.
What's the point of even getting down in a crouch? Just hold the glove down.
I remember having a conversation with Kevin Cray about the log jam at, I believe it was catcher, when Wyatt Matheson was there, and the best course of action was going to be putting him at third base. And it was like Wyatt Matheson, Elias Diaz, and Tony Sanchez. It was a log jam.
Yeah. Don't forget Humberto Cota.
Ooh.
It was after Humberto Cota. This was
Yamid Had.
That guy had a great pop time. Let me tell you. Let me tell you about
Yamid Had's pop time.
I think that guy was about 1.7.
Tyler was clocking him.
No, I saw a Twitter video of him about 7 years ago when that happened.
Can I also just say something too? I know people talk about on Twitter, so it's not like I'm going to steal the thunder in this sense, but it's something I've clearly noticed as well. And you guys brought up about the catcher. I mean, is there not really such an infatuation that the Pirates have to trade for a catcher right now? I mean, it's getting kind of ridiculous, right? And with you guys said, you're pretty much proving the point. The Pirates have not. They haven't had a catcher really who they've drafted, developed, or anything. Like every catcher they've had through this winning tenure has more or less been through draft or signing or whatever. I know
the Pirates have also been bad for 27 years.
But think about it. I mean, but
24 out of 27 years. Sorry.
This infatuation with the Pirates having a draft, I don't get it. Like if the catcher is really good and that fits in everything, fine. But like the number one plan for this year is not to trade for a catcher. So let's move on from that. You trade this team needs good pieces, however they come. If we have 5 shortstops in the top 10, it's 5 shortstops. That's fine with me too. So yeah, let's move on from that. Like we don't need to look for everyone's catcher and then try to trade for them.
I'm not trading for anybody.
Trade our players for the best return possible, no matter what their position is.
Bingo.
Also, how you draft.
Yes, I agree. Yep. And it's not like, I mean, really look around the league, the Pirates catcher right now, who they have for the foreseeable future is fine.
30.
But I mean, catchers catch till they're like 40 though. Like,
I mean, he's not good.
He's not bad though either. Like he's better than some, and he's worse than some. He's fine. Like he's an average major league catcher.
It's pretty bad.
He was arguably our best player outside of Brian Hayes last year.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, have you looked at catchers? Like, have you looked at catchers
What
around
are we
baseball?
arguing?
Like,
you can't tell. You can't tell me that the 2020 Pirates, that Jacob Stallings was their best player, and act like I should care about that because everyone on that team sucks.
Yeah, most of that was in jest. But what Jim's saying, though, is I agree. He's a fine player. Like, there's nothing special about him. It's not exciting, but he doesn't suck. But he's not in our plan. He's not our future.
I sure as hell hope not.
I mean, right. He'll be 40 then.
I mean, granted, I was also on board of screw it. Let's just roll a Chris Stewart at one point.
Jacob Stallings can't even create a player at this point in time.
Yeah, Jacob Stallings, born in the 80s.
He was
so old.
Shit. Damn it. I wanted to say Jacob Stallings, born in the early 80s, and then I remember my age again. Not born in the early 80s. Probably like what, 89, 88?
89.
Yeah.
So he barely made it.
Shit.
Yeah.
I don't like this. I don't like this.
Right. Okay, so we're gonna get any other things we want to talk about with this list, top 10 list.
I had something, but can't remember, and it is what it is.
I guess just real quick, Quinn Priester being number 4 as well. It was a Huntington guy, but he's looking. I mean, he's young, but there's a lot of positives coming out. He was one that they talked about. He stood out in Altoona this year. Really stood out. They talked about how he's just forward thinking. He latches on to any new technology, stuff like that. So, also interested in Quinn Priester, his development.
Yeah, and Priester was somebody too I was excited about. Last year. The stuff is great.
Also,
high school
flow.
Arm, good flow. He does interviews with Greg Brown on air at Wrigley Field on top of rooftops.
Right.
But no, I like Priester a lot. I think you could see him crack into, once these places start doing their top 100 lists. I think you could potentially see Priester crack some top 100 lists this offseason.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, so this, I believe, is our last NS9 Live of 2020.
Wow.
Yeah. New Year's Eve is Thursday as well, isn't it?
Yeah, so it'll be Christmas Eve and then New Year's Eve. So
unless you guys want to do a drunken NS9 Live on New Year's Eve.
I mean, I'm not going anywhere. Not like we can.
It might not be pretty, but we might.
So odds are
NS9 Live party.
Odds are last NS9
Live Zoom call.
Oh boy, we're just gonna have people join randomly. Yeah, come on in, have a drink, let's go.
Just add it in.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. I'm all in on that.
I
might host that.
I'll put it this way, as Jim's saying, this could be our last NS9 Live, but possibly not our last Thursday night stream.
Yes. So this is our last NS9 Live. So 2020, pretty terrible year overall. A lot of bad stuff happened this year. A lot of things were canceled. A lot of people, we won't get into like that, but it was a terrible year overall for basically the human race. So we're going to go ahead and do a Mount Rushmore of good things that happened in 2020. So we're doing a Mount Rushmore of things that happened in 2020. Everybody will do their 4. We'll do that. I think Tyler and Donardo have some lists together. I have no list. I didn't prepare for this. So
I have no list.
I have no list. I will be just making things up off the top of my head. I've got some ideas, but I have no
Jim's
list.
gonna freestyle this one.
So we'll see how it goes. But yeah. Let's go ahead. I guess we're gonna spin the wheel.
Yes.
Get to see who goes first, right? Use the fancy wheel.
Spin this beautiful wheel here. All right. We're spinning. All right. Number 1 overall, Tyler. Tyler's got the number 1 overall pick of 2020. How's that make you feel?
I feel great right now because
Do you?
I know I have
Feel
one
good?
person that's in a similar field as me, so I've got my 1-1 pick.
All right. So Tyler's
I
first.
don't know if he would feel the same way though, but I like my pick.
I am sandwiched in the middle. I have 1-2. Jim, you're last.
All right.
But hey, you got back-to-back picks. Those are kind of cool too.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess I get to open this bad boy up.
You get the 1-1 of 2020.
Here's my 1-1 of 2020, and I kind of mentioned that it there. Jim, you're a salesperson as well. Donardo, you're behind the screen, so you're a loser. So he doesn't really meet clients. My number 1 overall pick of 2020 is I don't have to shake hands with people anymore. I love not shaking hands with people. And it's not just at work. It's whenever I go out to see somebody. There's nothing more awkward than whenever you see someone for the first time in a long time. You don't know whether to go like the old school dap up or just a like handshake. I don't have to do it anymore. Just what's up, bud? That's it. We don't have to shake hands. I don't have to go for the awkward like half hug. No, we're not doing that. Okay, or like the weird one guy goes up, the other one goes for a businessman handshake.
Right?
Most awkward thing ever. I love that.
Usually 2 people of the Caucasian type.
Yeah, all you gotta do is like either a fist bump, elbow tap, or just a salute. That's my 1-1.
I can get on board with that.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that route. But
Yeah.
you know, hey, just
See, now you get why I didn't want to go with moment.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, it could be anything or moment. So yeah, that's a thing that counts for sure.
Okay. I can get on board with that. Okay.
I hate shaking hands. I hate it.
Now, behind the scenes, I know Jim and Tyler both have short lists. So the thing is, too, I feel that might be a little bit longer. But I think all of us are worried that if one person takes one of our selections, we're all screwed. Because now we have no options and we have nothing to look like. I don't know what to pick from. So this is real important. I'm going to go. I have some strategy here, but I have to go with this because I just feel it's going to be out there on some people's lists. Tyler apparently has left, so we'll see it, Tyler. He decided he needed to walk away. But I am going with Tiger King as my 1-2. I don't think. What's that?
That was like one of the things I was thinking about.
I don't think anything identifies 2020 more than Tiger King. And like, what better timing? That pretty much set off quarantine. I think that came out in late March, maybe mid-March or whatever. That's right when this was happening. I mean, I got into it. I loved it. It was a complete mess, and it just foreshadowed what 2020 was going to be, right? But I mean, nothing. I don't know how you can top Tiger King in 2020.
I'm gonna absolutely.
I mean, that bitch,
absolutely
Carol
agree with
Baskins.
you. Yeah, that bitch.
Right?
I did not leave. I just took my phone with me to get a beer.
Uh-huh.
But Tiger King never watched it. That's why earlier when we were talking about this, never seen it, couldn't add it.
Oh my God, I can't believe he didn't do it.
A rebel.
No, so I agree with everything you said. Like, it came out literally like as everything was shutting down. And it was like, okay, well, we're going to be inside for the next couple of weeks was, the initial thought, right? We got nothing to do for the next couple of weeks. What's this crazy ass thing that's on Netflix that everybody's talking about? And it came out at the absolute perfect time. and it was just a complete shit show.
Yes.
and it was incredible. It was amazing. It was like just what everyone needed to like be like, hey, we can't do anything, so let's all watch Tiger King. And it was great.
Right. And I remember too, I watched it. I want to say I watched the first 3 or 4 episodes. And then I came on our regular, we just had Sunday podcast with Ryan. I came on and we talked about it a little bit. I was like, Ryan, you got to watch this. So I got him to watch that next week. And that's what we talked about. I feel like for the next 3 weeks was Tiger King at the beginning of every show. And then they had Joel McHale do the reunion, which is kind of a disappointment, but I mean, that just showed how big it was.
Yeah.
They had we gotta capitalize on this and do a reunion or a follow-up show with Joel McHale, the king of that.
Yeah. Well, now I'm a little screwed because one of the 4 things I was thinking about was just picks. So.
See, and you had 2 picks coming, so I had to go with Tiger King right now.
All right, so I'm gonna kick it off with. I'm gonna go. We're gonna go with baseball. I'm gonna go with a sports moment. Probably one of my favorite things of the year. And if you were following me on Twitter throughout the season, once baseball started, I was like, all right, I need to consume as much baseball as possible because we didn't get to do any of this for months. So,
wow, Jim's picking Eric Gonzalez. Shocked.
So there was a lot of a lot of late nights watching West Coast games. One of the games that I was watching, it was Padres Rangers. Padres were winning 10-3 in the 8th inning.
Oh God, I had
3-0 count. 3-0 count.
Yes. Okay.
Bases loaded. Fernando Tatis Jr. swings on the 3-0 count and just hits an oppo taco, and just the whole entire baseball world just like was like, what are we doing? This is unwritten rules. And it was like you had half people who were like, this is wrong. You'd have people who were like, no, this is freaking awesome. I was one of the people who thought it was freaking awesome. I was like, this is just incredible. Dude and this was like right when Tatis was just crushing everything. It's 3-0 count, fastball. It wasn't even a bad pitch. He just took it the other way and just went yard with it. Loved it. It caused me to get suspended from Twitter the next day. I was suspended for 12 hours because I was defending him with like all my life. So yeah, that's gonna be my number one moment. 3-0 grand slam by Tatis.
So how do you want that on the graphic?
Tatis 3-0 grand slam. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. I was just wondering.
Yeah.
Because I know I got a few that are like that where I'm like, I don't know how I want to phrase it.
Suspended from Twitter. There was some podcaster who was talking shit about Tatis, and
God, Ryan, why do you got to run your mouth?
Yeah, it was probably Ryan in disguise. But that's what caused me to get suspended. So, yeah.
You got a second one.
I got a second one.
Back to back.
I think you gave that all the justice I could get.
So I kind of joked about this moment earlier, but I'm going to go with the date was August 13th.
He's got the date.
And the Pirates designated Miguel Del Pozo for assignment.
Oh, God.
I'm going to be honest. So that's going to get you some votes right there.
Is that pandering? Do we count that as pandering?
That's
I
don't know.
Right there.
I hated him. Like literally the day that the Pirates acquired him, I was like, what in the hell are we doing? Why is this guy on the team? I've never understood why he was on the team. Didn't understand why he was getting put into games. He was blowing games. Like he was, oh my God, I hated him so much. And then when he got DFA'd, it was like, it's about time. Yeah. Miguel Del Pozo DFA'd.
And you know what's funny about that? We've seen so much of Miguel Del Pozo this year, right? So much. And like I'm still blown away. I have to look it up again to make sure it's right. Yeah, only 3.2 innings pitched this year. Like it just it still boggles my mind how he only pitched 3.2 total innings.
It was probably like 10 games.
Because I was gonna say, yeah, I feel like he faced 50 batters in those 3.2.
Yeah. Oh God.
Is there ever going to be another Pirate who pitches 3.2 innings and is more recognized than him?
He had a 19.64 walks per 9 rate.
Yeah, that will do it.
Oh God. Oh God. He's
Like I just like looked at all my Miguel Del Pozo tweets. And I'm looking at the screenshot of his StatCast page. And it's just I've never seen more 1 percentiles in my life. Like he was literally the worst pitcher in baseball. Like
yeah. Yeah, that's gonna get you some votes, Jim.
all right.
That will.
All right, so I guess now it's my turn.
It is.
I feel like I'm safe on 2 other ones that you guys aren't going to touch. So knowing that, I'm just going to pick this one, even though I don't feel it might not be qualified for like number 4. But it certainly was something I really, really enjoyed. Actually, I don't know. Let me think about this now, because I can go 2 routes right now. No, I'm going to pick it because it's true to me. I definitely enjoyed this way more than the other thing I'd choose. I'm going with The Last Dance. Another. Wasn't
Fuck
Netflix.
you.
However, it's on Netflix now. Thanks, Tyler. I struck a chord. I'm so happy I picked it now. Actually, can I change that? I want this moment to be my number 2 moment. The moment that I took The Last Dance from Tyler is my number 2 moment in 2020. But yes, The Last Dance.
How could he take 2 fucking moments that are TV shows?
You know what though? I am all in on that. That's a good pick. I actually wish now I would have thought of that.
God.
The reason I did Tiger King was because I knew Jim had back-to-back and that would be gone. And I did enjoy Tiger King. I'm not saying I'm pandering, but I feel like that would be a better number 1 overall pick than my Last Dance. So I'm happy I got both of them. The Last Dance for me is absolutely it. I was tuned in. You can ask my wife right now. I'll bring in Jonquil.
Why did I not take Last Dance first overall?
Get out of this room. These next 2 hours are owned by me on Sunday night. Those 5 weeks were glorious. And yes, I don't care. I lived through the 90s. I watched Jordan. But, I mean, just watching that from that point of view, all the memes that we got from it, the GIFs, like it was just classic everywhere. That's kind of like Tiger King as well. You got some great memes out of it. But I feel like with the Jordan, Last Dance documentary, it was so well done. Like Jordan sat on this footage for how many years, finally gets out there. He's telling the story. You see all this stuff. Yeah, we knew a lot of it, but just seeing it again, going back in time, the nostalgia from it, and then just all the memes that we got from it. So that's clearly my number 2. I'm going with Tiger King and The Last Dance, and Tyler, GFY.
That's a good one.
Fuck you.
that's 3 F-bombs. Man, do I edit this one or not?
Gotta get the explicit label on there. But
Yeah. That
Apple already did that to us.
I wanted that number 1, and then I thought I was okay when you took Tiger King.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? Everyone might forget about Last Dance. Because it feels like it was about 3 years ago.
I know, right?
All right, well, screw me, right?
It's about damn time.
All right. You know what I'm going to go with? I'm going to go with something that doesn't make me feel terrible about myself. I mean, some of you guys might be big fans of cooking at home. You know what my favorite part of quarantine really was when it came to food? I could order takeout and call it supporting local business. We got about 3 restaurants in town. I'd be driving home, be like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and order this tonight. And I'm just going to help them stay in business. Thank you. So I don't know how you want to put that on the graphic. Maybe
Ordering takeout?
Ordering takeout. Yeah.
No, that makes
Ordering
takeout.
Supporting local takeout?
Supporting local, yeah.
I'm not
Eating
gonna lie,
food.
I don't hate that. Supporting local takeout, maybe. Dang, we're kind of stuck here with the word limit. But if you guys tell me that you did not enjoy not feeling guilty about ordering from your local eatery,
yeah,
you're lying.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know all 3 of us are still working. And it was, I should probably spread this money around. So I'm going to go order from this place. Oh, good special tonight. We'll go here. How many times do you cook really the first few months of quarantine? Maybe like 2 or 3 times.
I would say
you weren't going to the grocery store. Hey, no way.
It's crazy. Like to your point, we have, my wife and I, we have probably either, done carry out or delivery more this year than any other year. And it's like not even close. Not even close.
There's no guilt about it.
Right.
Because you're like, oh man, I'm helping the local business here.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's very good. And I agree. So what I'll say is how you said for the first 2 months, I think actually for the first month, that was probably the best I ever ate as far as healthy wise and just like cooking meals all the time. Because for the first month, it was the opposite because that's when it was the stores would go, you better have food, so we had all this food, we had all this stuff, and most things were shut down. So you didn't have as much capability of doing all that. And I think for the other part too, we're just kind of nervous, like what's going on. But then once things started laxing a little bit, you're learning some things. That I think month 2 and 3 is when that started, So you're absolutely right, Tyler. You're right. You've had no guilt, and it's great. You just order food. There's no cooking, not so much cleaning and such. And the other part too, you got to order drinks to go. Like it was a legal, legit, okay thing now. I had margaritas in the car.
Yeah, it's still legal in Ohio.
Yeah. You just go and you get drinks and take them to go. How glorious is that? Thank you, quarantine.
I remember it was like the first or second week of quarantine, and I went to go pick up food at we've got a Mexican restaurant that's like literally just down the street. And I walk in and they're selling pitchers of margaritas to go. And I'm just like, I was like, this is amazing.
Yes.
You know what? I know how I want it on the graphic, ordering takeout guilt-free. That's how I want it.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like the supporting local takeout might get you more though.
Okay. We'll go supporting local takeout.
I'm trying to help you out
more. Yeah. I like that more.
It actually makes you look like a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
Guilt-free
might rub some people the wrong way, but some people get it. Everybody gets that. Like ordering that pizza from the local pizza shop. I don't feel bad about it.
Right.
I want to keep them in business. I got my stimulus check. Let's go drop a 10.
How much weight have you all gained as well? If you want to share. Ooh. I don't want to share.
I'm going to be honest. I did not gain a pound.
Really?
I gained about 20 pounds, and it's like, what in the world?
Yeah, I feel the same, man. This is crazy.
I've worked in an office every day.
Me too, but I feel like I walked in the office. Like I was always up and walking around doing it. Now I'm here.
So this might be the difference is that you guys switched to work from home. I did not. So my only options were fast foods, which meant I packed a lunch.
So this made you eat healthier. So it did the opposite for you, really.
Yeah, I mean, I might have lost weight. which I shouldn't because, well, I also drank 30 times more than I usually do.
And there you have it. Because, you drank so lightly beforehand also.
Right.
Yeah, but when it's quarantine time and you're just going home, you know what? This leads to my next part because I got back-to-back picks here.
Oh,
This
that's
leads to my
right.
next part. Talking about my usual go to the bar after work because I like to go to the bar, drink about 4 beers, go home. Instead, I would stop at the gas station, grab myself a 15, 30 pack of Keystone Light
For the night.
every 2, 3 days. And then I'd hop onto my video game system. So playing video games with friends again, that's my third overall pick. Because I finally found time to play video games again.
There you go. It's weird. I
didn't
don't
play
recall
with you.
playing video games with you, Tyler.
Yeah, I mean,
Not like we
TJ
used to. So I see where I
because me
stand.
and TJ were busy. What do you want from me?
We were busy playing video games together.
You were busy playing with Tong and Geddes.
Until they stopped playing Fortnite.
Yeah. So you wouldn't play NHL with me and TJ.
I would if you asked.
We
Apparently it
did.
wasn't good enough.
We did.
Any video games for you, Jim?
No, I have not played video games since EA Sports stopped doing NCAA football. That's what did it for me. So I think it was NCAA football 2013. That's really the last. It's really the last I ever did video game wise.
Jim acting all mature. Well, actually, as a matter of fact,
Yeah.
I have not played any video games.
Well, so like the only thing I ever played like when I was growing up was just sports games. Like I'm terrible at like single shooter games and things like that. Like you put me like in front of Call of Duty, like I'll play Call of Duty, but I'm like the worst Call of Duty player in the world. Same thing was true like with like Halo and stuff. So like just absolutely awful at it. But like Madden, NCAA football, the show, those are the games that I excelled in. So
nice.
Yeah.
Man,
so once
when nothing
NCAA
was
football,
open,
yeah, NCAA with no NCAA football, that's kind of what stopped it for me.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought very hard about buying an Xbox 360 and buying NCAA 14 and just playing the crap out of it.
I can see you doing that.
Oh, I was real close to doing it. Me and TJ were talking about starting a dynasty with it.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
But video games during the lockdown of no bars. I mean, do you guys have bars? Like, are they still open?
Do you guys have bars?
Ours
I got bars.
Ours have been closed and open kind of throughout the whole year. They just reopened again on Monday.
Okay. I was gonna say, like, we've been pretty much open for 4 months.
Yeah. Well, I live in Florida, so we're pretty much open. We pioneered reopening.
Yeah,
I think you never really reopened because you never closed.
Right.
Touche.
All right. So is it my turn?
Oh.
So here it goes. So I think these ones are. I felt like you wouldn't pick them, and this kind of encompasses everything, but I'm going to specify it. But I think the one thing that quarantine helped was it brought a lot of creativity out of people, right? Things became a thing that weren't a thing before. Zoom calls became a thing. People doing different stuff. I don't want to say, I don't think you guys would take it anyway. You guys don't watch it. But stuff like Versus, like on IG, Instagram Live, right? Like that became a thing. You're watching more streaming and such. So I think that was really a good thing about the quarantine was people became to let out their creativity. Now, I'll pat myself on the shoulder here as well. We did a little creativity here. We came up with NS9 Jeopardy.
Oh, good lord.
So I'm going to encompass everyone's creativity and all this because that's part of it. And then us creating NS9 Jeopardy and using that platform and doing this. And part of it was for the fact, I mean, Ryan and I were talking, what the hell are we going to do? There is no baseball taking place. You can only talk about spring training and stuff that happened in spring training for the next 3 months for so long. So we came up with NS9 Jeopardy. I loved it. It was a hit. We did it again. So I'm going to go with my third pick as NS9 Jeopardy. I'm going to toot my horn. Little self-promotion here. But the North Shore 9 coming through in the clutch and having a game show. People coming on and playing.
I'm really glad he just wrecked his draft.
All right. You say what you want. But, I mean, if
he
they're
went
following
Last Dance,
us...
Tiger King, and then North Shore 9 Jeopardy. He went 2 great shows and then one that has Jim and I host. Gemini.
Oh, wow. Gemini.
God,
That should be the name of it.
show
That
name.
could be the name of it. Gemini. All right. So I guess it's my turn.
Yeah, I got on North Shore 9 Jeopardy. Everyone sucks since the last champion, so.
Jesus. So
There's been one good champion of that. Who could that be?
So I'm gonna go with, and then I'm gonna actually shift it to something kind of serious here, because a lot of bad stuff happened this year. But I think there was one big event, and I think it's gonna be something that like we remember our entire lives. Like not only are we gonna remember just COVID and all that, but like we're gonna remember for the rest of our lives like the Black Lives Matter movement as like a huge thing in this country. And not only like we've already seen some like actual change happen because of it, and it's only for the better. So I'm going with the Black Lives Matter movement as my next pick.
I like it.
So.
Can't even call pandering. Like that's bullshit, Jim.
Yeah, so going a little serious there though. But like I said, and I mean, it's one of those things where like when our parents were growing up, like they maybe lived through the civil rights movement, and I don't know. I feel like this is something that like people are going to talk about for a long time, like as a distinguishable moment, as like a main moment in our country's history.
I agree. I definitely do as well. There was a whole lot that happened this year. And even though like stuff we're talking about The Last Dance and Tiger King and Takeout, like that's all very minuscule and the microscope. But I think in the macro sense, for sure, I mean, that's going down in history. That's the history books right there. Like you mentioned, I mean, our parents, they talked about, this is what we talked about to the next, how many generations as well. So for sure.
I mean, literally every professional sports changed their stance overnight because of it.
The Bucks, just walking out.
All of NHL, NBA, NBA had it on the court.
Yeah, I mean, it was a major thing that transcended every part of our lives. Like, so not only did it kind of take over sports, but it took over everything. Like for
Roger Goodell came out and was like, "Yeah, I screwed that one up."
Yeah. Even Roger did. Black Lives Matter made Roger Goodell admit that he was wrong. So, so that's my third pick.
I like it.
Yeah. And then I know we don't get political here, but if you follow me on Twitter, you know my politics. So I'm going to say my last pick, Donald Trump getting fired. That's all I'm going to say.
Getting fired.
I don't think Jim's going to win this one.
Yeah, so that's my last pick.
Yeah, I don't get political either. I let a little bit out on Donald's Dugout on Tuesday about some things, even though it wasn't political in my eyes still. But that one's like gonna win. That's the decisive. Jim's smart. Jim did that. He's clearly gonna have people that don't vote for his ones. Based on that, but he's gonna have people that are gonna vote for that. They're gonna turn a complete blind eye to what you and I do, Tyler, and vote on Jim because of that too. So
talking about Pittsburgh.
this was
But at
a
the same
lot of
time,
strategy.
at
Jim's
the,
smart
At the
in
same
doing
time,
this.
at the same time, there also could be people who just
Oh,
won't vote for me because
Jim, is DiNardo accusing you of using politics to get ahead in the vote? Wow.
I think that's what
This
he's
is
doing.
so political of you,
Wow.
Jim.
Jim,
I didn't even say anything. I said one sentence. That's all I said.
I call it as I see it. I think DiNardo is out here saying that Jim is out here like reaching for the black vote.
No, I'm not saying that. Jim is doing the divide and conquer right here. Jim is dividing and conquering right now. He is what American politics is all about. Divide and conquer.
All right, so those are my 4.
I like it. All right. So here's my last one. And I know I'm going to get votes just on this. And I'm not doing it just because of votes. Literally the last event, and I say event because I've been to a place, right? I've been somewhere with like a few people, whatever. But the last event I was ever at in 2020 was the Pittsburgh Clothing Building Bridges Bar Crawl, and that was such a great time. I actually
You guys
left
are pandering so hard.
Oh,
tonight.
I'm not pandering. This would be legit my number 1, but I knew neither of you were there, so there's no reason you would have voted for it. So I'm scot-free. It's going to be a number 4 pick, even though in my heart, Pittsburgh Clothing Company and everyone who attended, you're my number 1. But listen, I don't think you guys understand. I left Jacksonville, Florida on Valentine's Day weekend, left my wife here to go to Pittsburgh for this bar crawl. And back when Ryan, who, by the way, I just want to point out there, I legit thought about Ryan leaving North Shore 9 as my pick. I thought about Ryan leaving North Shore 9 as a pick of the best moments of 2020, but I decided not to. But Ryan and I had a live podcast out there. It was a great time. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. But yeah, like when you think about it, that was the last event I was at in 2020. That was on February 15th. And right now it is December, 17th? So literally, that was the last fun moment I had in 2020. How could it not be my top moment?
Yeah.
Whatever you said, Donna.
Hey, it sounded like it was awesome. I remember listening.
Great.
I remember listening to the live
busy.
podcast. Sounded like a good time.
I was pretty busy. All right, so Mr. Irrelevant here.
Yes.
Or Mrs.
No, it's a Mr.
There's no women
Let's
in your
just
life,
think
Tyler?
back. Never. Only you fellas. Let's just think back to like our worst seasons as Pirate fans.
So like 2 months ago?
No, before that.
You're
Before
thinking like
Maybe
2008, 2009.
Oh, you know exactly what I'm thinking about, Jimbo.
Yeah.
Let's just thank the Lord. This season was only 60 games. So that's my last pick, Mr. Irrelevant of 2020. The Pirate season only being 60 games. The worst Pirates team of this decade only had to play 60 games.
I mean, you could say worst of the century.
It's
Millennium. Even.
Very well might be.
That's a very clutch pick.
That's a good one.
That is very good. Because
That's
even
my
as,
favorite part of this whole year. I had to watch the worst team ever,
Yeah.
and they played a third of the season.
But as Derek Holland would tell you, they were just getting hot. So, like, if
They were
the
getting hot like a Dutch oven.
if the season had been longer, who knows what could have happened.
Right. You
They
watched
they-
the worst third. We didn't get to see the good 2/3.
Right. Yeah.
They sucked. That was a bad group of baseball players, and I'm glad I only had to watch 60 games of it, which basically means I only watched 20.
So you watch a third of a third.
Yeah. Did you see them play? Also, not to mention, they played during every other sport coming back. So I didn't have to watch them. It wasn't the dog days of August. Nah, there's still hockey on.
Was there? I guess it
Well,
did come back then.
During some of
Okay.
it, yeah.
Hockey came back, yeah.
That's good.
All right.
That's a good one. So to sum this up, so Tyler, the number 1 overall pick, Tyler's number 1 was no more handshakes, supporting local takeout, playing video games with friends, and only having to watch 60 Power games. That's just a sad, sad man, by the way. Everything.
Yeah.
You know what my 5th pick would have been? Not having to
Tyler
see people.
sums it up saying, I'm glad I could sit at home by myself and not have to watch the Pirates.
Yeah. Tyler was like, 2020 was awesome. I didn't have to see anybody.
That was my 5th pick, not seeing people.
To sum up mine, Tiger King, The Last Dance, NS9 Jeopardy, and the Building Bridges podcast. Or
Trash.
Bar Crawl. Put podcast in there.
I mean, not trash, but
Jim's was Tatis Jr.'s 3-0 Grand Slam. Miguel Del Pozo's DFA. Jim is pandering here. Black Lives Matter movement and the Donald Trump fired.
that's a real panda right there.
Hey, just because I picked like 4 good things.
I just want to be like, pick the one that's true to the person they are.
I'll be honest though. These sum up all 3. If we were to put these 3 things out there, I think people would know who picked them.
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Honestly, you want to joke about pandering, but I think these do pretty much encompass us.
True.
Jim's clearly going to be the one that's voting for those. Tyler, again, just a sad, sad person.
I could have added in drinking beer by myself.
I mean, you basically did without saying it.
Getting drunk by yourself.
Oh,
It is what it is.
good stuff.
All right. So that's it. Anything else to add, guys?
Not a thing.
2 weeks from now, Tyler, a unofficial live stream.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'll start reaching out to people, see if anybody wants to do a little New Year's Eve Zoom call, North Shore 9 Live. Because nobody can do anything, so what's the matter?
Right. It might be lit.
Maybe able to.
We'll see what happens.
Maybe it'll hop on with you guys.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
We'll
All
see.
right.
But yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. Happy New Year! If this is we'll still be we'll have a couple things next week perhaps, but we'll see. But yeah, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and that's all we got.
Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Bye-bye.